OCAA 2023 Men's Basketball Championships here on We Digital Productions. Hello, everybody. My name is Dominic Papa. It is here finally. We've been talking about this all season long. The men's Final 8 tournament taking place here at the college. St. Clair, of course, the host team this year. What a great tournament we have coming up. Over the next 3 days, you're going to see some outstanding basketball, starting with 4 games here this afternoon. It's going to be outstanding competition. Our first game we're going to just see in a moment here. Humber will take on Mohawk. Mohawk having an outstanding campaign, finishing at 14-4. Humber, the defending national champions, also won this tournament last year in their own gym. They come in at 9-9, but you know what? Humber always finds a way. This is going to be an outstanding game to start this tournament. Of course, at 3 o'clock, as you can see, Niagara will take on George Brown. George Brown, an outstanding campaign over in the East. They will be a team to watch in this tournament, no question about it. Lambton and Sheridan will go at 6 p.m. I really like this Lambton team. I'll tell you what, they're my sleeper in this tournament. Lambton, the Lions, they can catch some teams off guard and make some noise at this tournament. And then, of course, to finish off the day here today, at 8 p.m., this place will be packed. The Sportsplex will be packed. St. Clair will host the Conestoga Condors, tip-off being at 8 p.m. The Saints, of course, winning the West Division this year, and everything's been focused to this tournament for the Saints. They've made it no secret. It's all or nothing for them this year. The Saints, of course, have played in this tournament. They won the silver medal last year against Humber, so it's been an interesting run for head coach Segan and head coach Sykes as they've been trying to prepare this team to get to this moment. Let's take a look at our first game here, of course, Humber taking on Mohawk. And Humber, of course, as I mentioned, the national champions, defending champions. They're the Ontario champions. You always mention Humber when it comes to this tournament. They're a perennial powerhouse in this league. They're led by Omar Miles, the second-year coach. He knows this team is different than last year. It's been some growing pains going on. He's hoping his team can peak at the right time. He hopes his team can find a way to beat a very good Mohawk team. Experience is what he's going to rely on.
I just think it's possession by possession, game by game, and you got to take it as such. We try to have little victories with our inexperienced team, and I think possession by possession, if we can win more than we lose in terms of possessions, I think we have an awesome opportunity to win a game. Yeah.
One player Coach Miles will be looking to rely on is one of his veterans, Brett Pierce. Pierce is talking about the focus that this team's going to need. He was part of that championship team last year. He talks about the focus that's needed to win a championship.
Definitely a lot tougher, especially, we're coming to the school that we played against twice last year in the OCAA finals and the CCAA finals. Just going to take an extreme amount of focus and just outwork all the other teams. Definitely focus is number one thing for us, though, for sure.
Their opponent today, the Mohawk Mountaineers, of course, led by Brian Jonker, the veteran coach. Jonker, 18 years at the helm. He had an outstanding year, named Coach of the Year in the West. The regular season campaign, this Western Conference year was extremely tough. Coach Jonker feels that could be an advantage as it prepares you for a tournament like this.
Yeah, I mean, we play in the toughest division in the country. So every night it's got to be a battle or you lose, right? So I think day in and day out, the wars we go through in our own division prepare you for the playoffs and the postseason. And I think that's why a lot of teams in our division have done very well nationally, even in the last few years.
Well, of course, he'll be looking at his veteran players to lead his team. One guy that's really excited about being here is Romel Kalura. He's a fifth-year player. He's so excited to be here. He knows what it all means. He had this to say about playing in this tournament.
It's a great experience, more or less. It's my 5th year, my last year, so it took a long time to get here. So now I'm just trying to soak it all in and take it for what it is. I know the whole team's excited. We worked hard for past 7 months, I would say, since August or today, September. So it's just a great feeling right now.
How gratifying.
That gets you set up for this game. We're going to go right out to the court. Our play-by-play man, Justin Prince, is in place. He'll have the call for you. Let's send it out to the court for the game.
Basketball comes through Windsor. Humber, Mohawk just about to take to the court as they get ready to square off for the third time amongst themselves this season. The important thing to consider approaching this matchup, the Humber Hawks looking to try and see if they can beat the Mountaineers for the first time in this campaign combined. Now it's time to hit the hardwood. We're underway for the quarterfinals for the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Starting things off, the Mountaineers with the first possession. Daniel Graham, Romo Kamara amongst the starting lineup with Mackenzie Hart, Jerry Mercury Jr., and Kale Kawara. The jump shot around the arc, no good. Second chance put back in. Jerry Mercury Jr. puts it in. The former St. Clair Saint and top rebounder in the province puts up the bucket, the first point to the game. The Humber Hawks 9-9 entering today. Kyle Brown-Fazekas, Romeo Osis, Joshua Jar, Harwood, Dwayne Lambert-Cador, and Rashawn Chambers. The starting five. You see that now on the screen for the 9-9 Hawks. Keep in mind they came into this playoff season with 3 straight losses. Mountaineers lead by 2, 40 seconds into the quarter. The drive inside, straight to the cup. It's good. Graham, one of the top scorers for Mohawk. In fact, the best offense as a team this campaign in points per game. Down low into the low post. Jobber stripped away. Led up by the Kawaras. Up on the drive. No good, Graham. Second chance. Put back. Faded away. It's good. And a quick buzzer sounds. And a timeout quickly triggered by the Hawks. Let's take a look at the Mohawk Mountaineers lineup once more. Keep in mind, Daniel Graham amongst 2 different 20 points per game scores for this team coming into today. The other is their 6th man, and Stefan Inesco we'll talk about later on. Keep in mind, Jerry Mercury Jr. also strong when it comes to scoring 19 points per game, just under that mark, entering the day. The Mountaineers lead 6-0 on the run to start things off in the first 90 seconds. Here at the Sportsplex. Stellar beginning for this respective squad. 14-4, their record entering the day. Take a look at Humber's side, meanwhile. One of the major things emphasized, as discussed during the pregame, was trying to get the little victories. When emphasized further, the focus is simple. 1 possession at a time. When it comes to the coaching squad, led by Omar Miles. Brian Yonker named the West Division Coach of the Year just yesterday. They're going from a 1-7 record for the Mountaineers to 14-4 this year. Back and away. 67 seconds into the first quarter of play. We're going back and forth on the setup. So one around Lambert-Cador, now on the outside, Brown-Fazekas looking to try and set up penetration. The jump shot, Lambert-Cador, it's good for the first bucket of the game for the Hawks. Veteran starts the scoring for Humber. Trying to drive inside. Mountaineers. Mercury Jr., the jump shot, no good. Tapped around, rebound picked up off the bubble, Lambert-Cador. Door scanning the court. Gets the screen up high, takes the jumper mid-range again, doesn't get the bounce. Second chance. Jumpers up and in the midst of traffic. Third-year player from Toronto helps cut the gap from 6 to just 2. 3 Humber Hawks shots. On the drive, inside the cut. Mount Kamara, no good, and a reach. First personal picked up today. That's by Daniel Graham. Team first. Graham's first. Just past 2 minutes into the first quarter play here on We Digital. Glad to have you with us from Windsor, Ontario. This is the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship weekend. The quarterfinals taking place all day from St. Clair College and its Sportsplex. Jumpers avoids one reach. Pass outside. Harwood. Strong from shooting throughout the year. No good there. Kawara takes it up. Getting on to his brother. Moved around to the baseline. Once again, Ramel. Back along to the post. Kale spins it back outside. Not on the shot clock. Avoiding some of the traffic. Now pass back outside. Mercury Jr. for three. It's good. Jerry Mercury Jr. Nine to 4 start for the Mountaineers. Harwood. Moved around the outside. Lambergador now down for Brown Pasikas. Jumpers tries to pass it off. Outside. Harwood the three. No good. Bobbled out of bounds by the Mountaineers. Stays Humber possession for the first 14 of the shot clock. Talked about these two teams facing each other twice in the regular season. The Mountaineers winning the season series in two different ways. One in comeback fashion away from their home building, in double-digit fashion when it came to being at their home building later in the season. After the substitutions and shot, no good. Down low, Chalmers picks it up in the midst of traffic. The substitution seeing Raheem Dennis join the game for the first time tonight. On the drive, Mercury Jr. Looks back outside, Kale. Move forward now, Daniel Graham on the pass. Wide open, it's good. Hart. Mountaineers opening up lanes and quickly here today. Around to the high post. Dennis likes to try and charge forward over Mercury Jr. is good. Mercury Jr. on the D. Dennis off the bench picks up his first points. Just under double-digit scoring in the regular season. Kale now runs the offense. Calling for the soft screen. Hard pick and roll. Hard in the high post. Move to the corner for the three. Ramel, it's good. Another three for the Mountaineers, and they are streaking from beyond the arc. Lambergador. Off again to Dennis. Humber looking to go inside this time. On the cut, bobbled around, kickball violation off the Mountaineers. And some more changes coming in for Humber. Barrett Amonso's coming in. Let's look at the previous setup. Mountaineers opening up the shooting lanes outside multiple times today. The top shooting three-point team in terms of makes attempts and percentage points entering the postseason. Down low to the post. Barrett. Guarded by Mercury Jr. Bounced around Lambergador. Lambergador takes a contested jump shot off the front of the rim. No good. Now picks up the rebound. Draws the whistle. So that goes against Lambergador for his first personal quarterfinal. Scratch that. That is Brown Fazekas now giving credit for the personal. On the floor for Humber after the substitutions mentioned. Harwood lined up with Brown Fazekas, joined alongside by Barrett. Lambergador. Rounded the five is Dennis. Moved around for Ramel to the baseline. Back far outside. Graham can't get it to fall. Mountaineers also made a recent change with those stoppages. Rayvon Young into the matchup. Once the substitutions. Down low inside. It's good to the treetops. Just past halfway through the first quarter. 14-8 Mountaineers. Off the bounce. Jump shot. Mercury Jr. Yes. Mountaineers tied for the biggest lead of the game so far. 8 points. Lambergador calling for motion again. Dennis takes the three. Makes the three. Dennis pulling up for the tray. Help chip down the gap. 31% from deep in the regular season. On the drive back, stow it away. Lambergador up the runway for the layup. It's good. Hawks soaring close again. 5-0 run the past 3 possessions. Reach in called. Credit that to the direction of Harwood, his first personal. That'll be the second team foul as well. Now our substitution coming in as well is Osis Joshua coming back in. Brown Fazekas coming out. Mountaineers work quick. Rommel pass down to Mercury Jr. Rommel on the bounce. Doesn't get the lucky roll. Kept alive, but Graham knocked down on the push on the rebound. And they see defenders there. The signal going towards the direction of Dennis for his first personal. 13th foul in the midst of the rebound battle. 14 still on the shot clock. Lee off the mark of the pass. Kept alive though. Moved over to Yun. Now Rommel. Rommel. Out of the double. Back to Yun. Yun knocks over defender. No whistle. Now he gets knocked over for the whistle. So a reach in the midst of that. Embarcador was the one who picked out the personal there. And the next one puts the Mountaineers in the bonus for the remainder of the first quarter. Mercury Jr. looking to cut. Has it contested, no good. Bounced off the hand of one of the rebounders, Stefan Hansko. Now back down to the drive. Picks up the whistle. It's time against Mohawk. A blocking foul is the call. Give that to Rayvon Young. His first, team second. So the personals flying in quickly all of a sudden here on We Digital. Down to the pass. Moved around to the corner for the 3. Lambergador airballs it. Picked up off the glass. Hansko. 6th man of the year for the West Division this year. Moved around to the corner. Graham. Back of the rim, no good. Put back. Count it. And the foul. Hansko. And Hansko able to pick it up quick and drop it back in quick. The first time today, teams are at the free throw line. As Kale comes in for Rommel. Also coming back in with this is Hart. Personal going the direction of number 7, Harwood for Humber, who is now out of the matchup for the first time today. It's been substituted out for Cameron David. And a lane violation on the make. Humber ball regardless. 19-13, about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. Looking around, David. Gonna pass it off, now it's Brown Fazekas on the drive, rejected on the cut. Hart. Taken up this time by Kale. Kale, move back outside. Hansko, the 3, yes, he's got it. Hansko, the deadly shooter from off the bench with the bucket, a 20-point-per-game score. It's moved around. Brown Fazekas off the pass. Is it touched? Yes. Deflected out by the Mountaineers. Reset with 11 on the shot clock. Look back at the previous play, and as talked about, Hansko very deadly this season when it comes to shooting. 51% for the field, a team high. 40% from beyond the arc this year. On the drive back. Looking to set up from the box. Barrett, good. Moved up quickly by the Mountaineers once again. For Graham, now given to Kale. Moved over to Hart. Back along the far side off the skip. Push ahead, and the whistle drawn again, this time by Young. That puts Humber over the limit. Now a blocking foul picked up by Dennis, his second. Let's take a look at the previous play. This is at the shot clock, by the way. Very quickly working. Another 50% shooter off the bench. First is good for the Mountaineers. Their second free throw attempt of the game. They come into this turning fourth in the province free throw percentage, 73.3%. Comes to Young. It's much the lowest total. In fact, the second lowest on the team at 60.6% from the stripe. And the second one's no good. Back up to 8 regardless, though. David draws up the play. 2 minutes to go in the first. David scans around. Now with it is Dennis. Dennis looks back and forth. Cuts to the right on the juke. Contested, no good. Down for the rebound, picked up, second chance. Draws several whistles for the shot. Osis Joshua. Several wanted a 3 in the key there. Regardless, it is a personal on one of the shot. Then Ansko picks up the personal, his first. So Humber, for the first time today, is at the free throw line. 8th in the province in free throw percentage, 68.5% as a team. When it comes to Osis Joshua, rounding average, 70%. Seconds no good. Tapped out of bounds. Last touch by the Mountaineers, routed by the Hawks. Big thing when it comes to the Cowards today. Seen them mentioned during the pregame coverage. Their entire family made the trip down here today. Amongst the front rows of the grandstand. Several of them wearing shirts on who is what relative. They're able to set up the 3 there for the bucket. David looks to pass around. Good around the outside. Moved over on Fazekas. Back to low post. No good on the jump shot. Barrett again. Moved up quickly on the break. It's Young. Young trapped in the zone for a moment. Gale moves in instead now for Graham. Graham picks up the shoot tops. Moves away from one reach. Passes away from the second. 8 on the shot clock. Down to the final minute of the first quarter. Deflected away on the block. 5 on the shot clock. Hold on, they're saying Humber basketball. That was touched by a Hawk. See if this gets looked towards. Seemed to be off the hand of Barrett. The substitution regardless, Nathan Waith coming in. So they have rolled out of bounds regardless. Humber basketball. David moved around Waith, back for David. With the Brown Fazekas. And stripped away again. Comes Kale. Gora. Nearly passed away, travels instead. Brown Fazekas on the defense. And a chance for a 2-for-1 for the Hawks to close out the first quarter. Big set down low so far for the Hawks. Does not matter for Brown Fazekas. High above the window nearly. 2-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Alan Kale working with Hart. Mark Ray Jr. rounding up the lineup is Young. Mountaineers draining the clock down off the high screen. Moved away by Kale. Ramel contested, passed away at the buzzer. Grazes the rim, no good. And after 10 minutes of play, the Mountaineers start off strong. A double-digit lead entering the second quarter. You're watching We Digital for coverage of the men's basketball championship at the OCAA from St. Clair College.
What can milk do? Well, it can turn you into a morning person. It can help fuel some pretty tough stuff. And it can definitely make cartoons funnier.
No, it can't.
Oh, well, it can have a little edge. But come on, even kiddies love it. It'll keep up with you at any age. It makes engines whir and creme brulee cremmy. It's one of the easiest labels you'll ever read. And anything that makes this happen is pretty special. In fact, what can't milk do?
For every big breath, for every little breath, and for every breath in between, Ontario Power Generation is committed to keeping Ontario's air clean. That's why the power we generate is 99% free of smog and carbon emissions. Because clean air matters to us all.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is, put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
A look over at the championship banners set across the stadium. Sportsplex hosts the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship with the Mountaineers of the Hawks. 26-16 in the first of 4 quarterfinals today here on We Digital. So far, the Mountaineers shooting 50% from the field, but the big thing, 3 more trays compared to these Hawks. Humber 1 for 6 beyond the arc to start. Back it away. Couture gets the screen from Chalmers. On the jump shot, back rim no good. Tap out, but a whistle on the rebound over the back. Also contact with the wrist signal. Chalmers picks up the personal. Regardless, the Mountaineers with the ball. Now the fouls were a major issue in that first quarter at times. 6 personals picked up, including 3 within about a minute by Humber. Gives it off, meanwhile, to Hart. Hart, poke loose, picked up by Chalmers. Give it off this time for Lambergador. 5 on the court so far for the Hawks. Wait to start off the quarter. Chalmers gives it off to the corner. Brown Fazekas, 3, front of the rim, no good. Still yet to hit a shot, thrown off the leg of a Hawk by the Mountaineers in the attempt to save in Mohawk basketball. And a smart play picked up, and that was close to being called out off Mohawk. Young with his foot just about down, if not down, on the green line. Regardless, play continues. Hart, very hard screen up top. Kale puts up the 3, picks up the N1. Kale Kawura picks up the 4-point play with the assist from the high screen up top. So a second personal picked up that time by Chalmers in 2 possessions to start the quarter. So the second of the brothers for the Kawuras. Misses the shot to complete the 4-point play. Kawura 82% of the regular season for the Stripe. Gador. Give it off to David. Screen set by Chalmers. David. Shuffle pass. Brown Fazekas picks up the tray. Mountaineers lead by 10, just past a minute into the second quarter of play. You're on We Digital. Kawura picks up more contact. Trying to draw the N1, doesn't get the basket to fall. David on the contact. So David now with his first personal. So let's take a look at the previous play. See right there, trying to shuffle through. David is the one who picks up the trigger for the personal. Say no shot, however, that was before the shot had left his hands. Speaking of hands, Rommel has one, Lieblam. No good on the shot. Fast break picked up. Humber contested. It's good. Wait, one of the 11 rookies for Humber this season. Part of their 9-9 squad. Hard, high screen for Kale again. Pick and fade this time. For the size mismatch, given off once again. Kale, shuffle quick. Mercury Jr. the cut. Jerry Mercury Jr., active so far today, has picked up a couple buckets. Signs up Lambergador to David. Battling down low in the post. Watching the shot. It's good. Madden David trying to set up high post before the tray. Now Graham gives it around Mercury Jr. to Hart. Hart after the step forward. Tries to respond. No. And contact on the rebound attempt from Lambergador. This time on the rebound, it's Jerry Mercury Jr. picking up his first personal. Mercury Jr.'s first, team first. The Humber so far with 3 personals in 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the quarter. Give it up to Lambergador. High screen, set around to the 3. Brown Fazekas, no good this time after the corner tray earlier in the frame. Now Kamara, the 5th-year senior. Watches it get poked loose from Graham. Graham on the chase. Lambergador on the bucket. 5 quick points again for the Hawks several times. Last frame we've seen this. Kale Kalora gets motion set for Mercury Jr. Mercury Jr. the post fade. Makes it swish. He's got 11 points this half. Lambergador giving off to Davis. David moving around for Lambergador. Looking to cut forward, looking to hop forward away from the pressure. For the 3rd time they draw up the play. This time it's no good for the corner. Moved up for Kale Kawara. Kale avoids one reach. Passed off to Hart. Free throw line. Jay, no good. Move up the high tempo offense. Brown Fazekas to the baseline. Move back outside, up to Lambergador for 3. It's good! Timeout called, Coach Junker. And the Hawks have trimmed the double-digit gap to just 4. All set up with the ball movement. Lambergador uncontested, top of the arc, 2 steps back to pick up the tray. Let's take a look at the previous round. This is the crossover round, as it's called for the postseason. Help determine who the final 8 are. St. Clair have the bye. Conestoga beat Georgian to get here by double digits. Niagara did the same against Loyalist. Humber over Seneca 83-56. Mohawk beat Algonquin 96-77. George Brown, keep in mind, eye on them for this tournament. 17 straight victories entering the day. Redeemer lost to them. Sheridan beat Centennial 92-86, and Lambton beat Durham. A huge game there with Durham top 10 in the nation before that crossover, 82-76. The big thing about this tournament this year, just one team from the East made it out of the crossover round, George Brown. Every other team is from the West this season in the Championship 8. Coming out of the timeout huddle, 33-29. Humber trimming down what was a gap as high as 12 points to just 4. Looking to carry the momentum out of the huddles. On the floor for the Mountaineers coming out of the timeout. Mercury Jr. on the inbound. Hart joined alongside by Daniel Graham. Ramel Camora stays on the court. Yun is now on said court. So Kale Kawara getting the chance of the breather. Stripped away the top from Mercury Jr. On the drive. No good. Brown Fazekas. And Brown Fazekas flies into the grandstands. So a very busy play there. Brown Fazekas flying through the barriers along the court side. It appears Humber does keep the possession here with Brown Fazekas going all the way to the grandstands, you see there. Cameron David able to pass it off to Lambergador. Lambergador contested, good in the lane. And the Hawks are knocking on the door. Lambergador trying to keep up quick. Von David on the D, now back to Hart. And Von David on the block, picks up the board, but steps out of bounds. Mohawk keeps possession with 14 on the shot clock. Done David with the quick reaction, and Oates Joshua with the even quicker run onto the floor for Cameron David. With also still on the court, round out the grouping currently for the Hawks. Hart open, giving out off to Ramel. Ramel off the pass to Hart. Hart looking for a three, misses the three. Picked up by Done David. Coming up to halfway through the second quarter, 33-31 Mountaineers. Lambert-Gador. High screen set. High jumper set for the mid-range. It's good. Tie game. And the Hawks have come all the way back to close it up to 33 all. Ramel gets the screen. Give it around off the passes. Mercury Jr. looks to speed forward on the pick and roll. Hart having to back out of it. Move back to Graham. 6 on the shot clock. Graham gets his own pass. Puts it in for the bucket. 10 it for Hart. Humber, quick transition off the inbound. Doesn't get it a fall. Oates Joshua. Well, passed off. This time for Mercury Jr. on the setup. The pullback. The tray, no good. Lambert-Gador on the rebound. Both teams high tempo. Lambert-Gador, the bucket, it's good. 35 all. And the ball has landed behind the doghouse set up at the stadium. And both teams are taking advantage to be able to make some substitutions here. Hart coming out. Kale Kaora coming back in. Wants the changes. Back it away. Kale able to find Yun. The three, no good. Bounces off Kale. So the Hawks get the possession. So far, high tempo has been a major talking point throughout this matchup. Major consideration to keep in mind was the up and down, incredible growth discussed, in fact. Mentioned by the head coach of these Humber Hawks, Omar Miles. Managed wanting to make sure they focus on the elements of their game they needed to focus and improve on for today. Put it that way, as that one's put up into the doghouse again. Inbound coming from the sideline. 9 on the shot clock. Lambert-Gador. Giving quick to Waith. Brown with it. Brown Fazekas. 4 on the shot clock. Under the cup. Good for the layup. Humber leads for the first time today. Graham looking to change that back. Draws contact. And on the reach. That goes against Oates Joshua. His first personal. And already, Mohawk is on the cusp of the bonus. Let's look at the previous play. Just drives his way around here. Let's go down the baseline. Find the separation. Substitution made. Waith turned over quickly by the Mountaineers. Moved up now as Barrett came into the matchup with that stoppage. Gives it off to Dennis. Pick and roll set. Dennis gives it back around. Oates Joshua. Back to Dennis. Dennis contested. He made a 3 earlier. Makes another. Some of the fans jumping in the grandstands. The Hawks lead by 5. Kale Kaora bounces over to Ramel for the 3 in response. It rims out wide open. Hawks looking to keep the pressure up. Lambert-Gador slows it down. And around Barrett. Trying to cut through the defense. Trying to have a contact, can't. Now picked up inside. Dumped by Mercury Jr. Coming up to 3 minutes to go in the half. Ramel passed over to Kale. Kale Kaora through the traffic. Draws contact. And that will put the Mountaineers into the bonus. Oates Joshua, his second. Oates Joshua trying to come in to set the charge, but not planted in position. Cameron David now coming in meanwhile. Parts changes. Oates Joshua coming out. So Kale Kaora been active in the distribution for the Mountaineers so far today. 11 points per game in the regular season. Shooting 40% from the field. look over to his family. Lots of different family members, including his biggest fan. Don't forget about the biggest fan. All making sure they were here to cheer on their relatives today in this building. Family coming from Hamilton. So after the free throws, down to a single possession game. Give it around, Barrett. Off the pass, Lambergador on the pump. Going baseline, back around. Brown Fazekas, the young rookie, can't drop it. Dennis inside, second chance, gets blocked by Rommel. Third chance put up, Brown Fazekas draws contact. Mercury Jr. in the vicinity. Just the second team foul for the Mountaineers today. So you see Rommel just got it with the right hand. Not in a position for the box out. Mercury Jr. with the result of that contact is second personal. When it comes to Brown Fazekas, still Rick Yamping, in fact, an all-rookie team award winner. Yesterday during the banquet. Throughout the season, 10.9 points per game, but 48% from the free throw line. Misses the second on cue. Graham moved up to Rommel. Looking at Kale. Rommel decides to keep it. Stops. Mismatch on the size. Just hits the front of the rim. Picked up by the Hawks on the board. Lambergador directs traffic. David trying to rush over to the near corner. Dennis. The pump now gives it over. Barrett. Lots of contact. At least two players trying to battle on the low post along with them. Hart coming in after that for Mercury Jr. Kale Kaloric picks up his first personal as a result. Wide open off the inbound from the arc. It rattles in. It's good. Lambergador. 44-37. Kale Kalora looks to sidestep in. Count it. And the foul. Kale Kalora Euro steps his way through two different defenders after the acrobatic passes in the first place. There's Dennis, and there's the reason for the foul. Give it that to Jemani Barrett. Very frequently getting to the line so far. He averaged about at least 3 attempts per game in the regular season for a reason. As he completes the end one. Another change coming in. Biadun David in. Coming out, Barrett. A response back from Mohawk. Rayvon Yun coming in for Stefan Ensko. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half of play. 40 points picked up by the Mountaineers, 43 by the Hawks. Around Brown Fazekas. Looking to twirl around, it's good. Abiadun David going back and forth. Mountaineers set back. Graham has one-on-one. Cutting in, driving in. Right over Abiadun David again. Lambergador kicks it up, Brown Fazekas. Brown Fazekas trying to run the corner, trying to draw the contact, gets the foul. Brown Fazekas picks up the contact off Hart. Has a chance to complete the three-point play. Watch how far the movement goes, all the way from the sideline, right around Rayvon Yun. And off the left hand, picking up the contact from Hart. Hart's first personal. As the N1 is completed by the all-rookie. Yun at the point. Hart screen by Hart. Up top, Graham. Back of the rim, no good. Bound for the board. Picked up off the bounce, Brown Fazekas. Fazekas to Dennis. Dennis knocks over Graham. Play continues. Move back over. Lambert-Gador. Over for Cameron David for three. Rims out. Picked up off the board. Brown Fazekas drives it back in. No good. Bodun David tries to put it back in. No. Dennis tries to save it. Can't. Goes out of bounds with 36.9 seconds to go in the half. The Mountaineers have triggered a timeout. 48-42, the score. A lot of words to be discussed from both sides, it appears here, amidst this stoppage. Let's take a look at how things played in the regular season for the Hawks in terms of the stat lines. As mentioned, they defeated Seneca by a significant margin to get here. However, before that playoff matchup, they had lost against Lambton, St. Clair, and Sheridan. All but one in double digits. Now one to St. Clair by 9. However, the scoring has been solid throughout the year. 9th in the province, 9th in the field goal percentage in turn. Rebounding so far, it's been their strength. Best in the province, 48.5. Well, their assists as well in the top 10 in 8. Three-point shooting, as we see, not the greatest. 10th in the province, 31%. Free throw percentage mentioned in 8. However, the major thing emphasized by Coach Miles, as mentioned, the focus on the possession to possession and trying to make sure the toughness is there for a game such as this, and essentially, especially, to stay locked in versus the Mountaineers, which they have in the midst of their comeback and in the midst of them leading for half the second quarter. 36.9 seconds to go in the first half of play. One timeout remaining when it comes to Humber's side. Mohawk using both their timeouts this half available. Graham gives it off. Gore gives it up to Ramel. Ramel for the three after the timeout. Bouncing off of Hart out of bounds. Humber ball. But 3-second difference. Shot clock, game clock, 2.9 seconds to be precise. Humber going with Cameron David. Lambert-Gador. They move Dennis back into the game this time after a very quick substitution involving Dante Mordecai Steffens. Also in the game and still getting communication of Bodun David. Rounding up the grouping, Brown Fazekas. Lambert-Gador picks up his own dribble. Moved up to Cameron David, 10 on the shot clock. Moved around, Lambert-Gador. Long shot, front of the rim, no good. Picked up on the rebound, Young having to speed it up. 3 seconds to work with, drawing multiple whistles. And 2 free throws signaled with Humber over the limit. Push signaled on the play. Lambert-Gador second. Watch Lambert-Gador come from the right. There it is right there. That pushes him into Brown Fazekas. Knocks Brown Fazekas over. And another change to end off the quarter being taken. Ricky Morrison coming in. Coming in, out is Ramel Dora on the personal. So 2 seconds to go in the first half of play. Yana, 60.6% free throw shooter, as talked about earlier. However, started 2 games, picked up 5 points per game in the regular season. Also solid on the glass, about 2 boards per game. Both for good. 4-point lead, 2 seconds to go in the half. From half court, no good. Heading into the locker rooms. The Humber Hawks lead 48-44. Halftime coverage coming up around the corner. You're watching We Digital for the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship from Windsor.
Welcome back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex, the site of the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships. Here on We Digital, we're into our first contest of the day, first of 4 that we'll have here on We Digital. Humber, a little bit of a surprise here, leading Mohawk 48-44 at the half here. A very entertaining half of basketball, that's for sure. I told you this was going to be a good one. This whole tournament is going to be a good one, folks. You don't want to miss much of it, that's for sure. If anything, none of it. So when you come to an event like this, there's always a lot of great and special people that come in to our city, visit our city. They're working as part of a group here as part of the tournament. The OCAA has some outstanding individuals that help make things like this happen. One of those gentlemen I met last night at the awards banquet, and really happy to have him here with us on our broadcast. Jeff Harris is joining us on the broadcast. He's in from Georgian College in the Barrie area. I'm going to let Jeff tell you what his official title is, because he's got one of those long, drawn-out ones. It's a very important title, I can tell you that. But, Jeff, thanks for doing this with us. And
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And it was great to meet you last night. We got to chat a little bit. And
absolutely.
You caught me off guard on a couple of things, which was great. I appreciate that. But your official title.
Sure. So for this weekend, I'm representing the OCAA. I'm a member of the Senior Leadership Council, and my responsibilities, I'm Vice President of Programs. Okay. So oversee kind of all the programs that we have in the OCAA. We have a volunteer group that serves up on the Senior Leadership Council that's made up of members from our colleges. So that's my volunteer job. My paid gig on a regular basis is I do work at Georgian College, as you mentioned, in Barrie, and I'm the manager of varsity programs there. Okay.
So it's all sports related with you.
100%, 100%. So yeah, the OCAA sends a member of the Senior Leadership Council to all of our championships, and I'm this week's representative. Happy to be here at St. Clair College.
You got a good gig.
You know what? Traveling around the province, watching sports,
my God.
Watching our fantastic student athletes. Yeah. Absolutely, it's a lot of fun.
I'm a little envious of you here. That's awesome stuff. If I was listening correctly last night, we had a few people chatting. We had a great table.
Yeah, we did, absolutely.
I really enjoyed it. But you have something to do with Michigan, right?
Not with Michigan?
Yeah, did you?
You know what? I took advantage of coming down here, and I popped over to Michigan yesterday to watch. I watched the Pistons play against the Bulls and visited one of the campuses down there just to get some different ideas. Sure. Like I like to pop into whether that's St. Clair or somebody in the OCAA and see how they do things, and maybe take that back to the college and also to the OCAA and see how we can improve our product.
So these tournaments, I know they're important, but just how important are they to the OCAA?
Well, I think it's the culmination of all of the student-athletes' work,
sure.
Coaches, trainers, staff, administrators. It's a culmination. That's what everybody strives to do, is to get to the OCAA championship and have a chance to raise the banner and win a gold medal, and then go on to the CCAA national championship and represent Ontario in their college. So, yeah, it's a culmination of lots of work for the players, the staff. And it's great to have everybody. 8 teams here, obviously, this weekend. Some great basketball, and so it's a culmination that everybody works for to get to. Yeah, it's so fantastic.
It's so very important as times are changing in our world.
Yeah.
Same thing at the OCAA level, obviously, and I'm sure this is part of what you do, and with the rest of your colleagues, is just always looking at ways to make that experience that much more special.
Absolutely. I mean, I think our focus is making the student-athlete experience exceptional. People do it at their college on an everyday basis. They try to see how they can improve things with their student-athletes, whether that comes to a lot of the services that they do at their own college, whether that's the therapy service, whether that's mental health, all the supports that we try to put in for our student-athletes. And I think we want to make the OCAA an attractive destination for players coming out of high school, clubs in the area, that they think about the OCAA and not just thinking about necessarily its youth sport or NCAA. And you come here and see what kind of facilities St. Clair has, the job you guys are doing at the production, it is top notch. It's comparable to anything you'll see across the country and even across the border as well.
I appreciate that. It's a work in progress, as I say. I don't want my guys to hear that. Okay, Jeff? I might get a little lazy.
Yeah, you might get someone asking for raises and stuff like that.
When stuff like that starts happening, it's like, okay, wait a minute. So, last question here, Jeff, and I'll let you get going. And enjoy the rest of this. But,
I will, absolutely. Thank you.
You mentioned the facilities, and I'm glad you brought that up. And yeah, we love working at this facility. The facilities, how important is that to the colleges? And do you see the other colleges starting to maybe even looking at St. Clair saying, look, we need something like that just so that we can make the experience that much better? And also from a competition level as well.
For sure. I mean, there's two factors when you're building a facilities. Obviously, you're looking at your own student athletes from a varsity standpoint, but the whole other side is the recreation standpoint and for the rest of the student body, right? So you've got, obviously, your upstairs fitness facilities and those things. And I think schools are starting to realize that, yes, students coming out of high school, they're looking for academic programs, but they're also looking for the extracurricular piece as well, right? And so when you build a facility like St. Clair's done here, Mohawk's built a new one, Algonquin up in Ottawa just built a new one recently. They're investing in their students and the student body, and it's very attractive for all of them to be able to showcase those facilities. And often, even at our place, when we get tours on campus, what's the first place they stop at? It's our athletic facility, right? So I think presidents and colleges are realizing that that's important.
All right. Well, you're important, and certainly we appreciate you spending some time with us here. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm hoping we get to chat down the road again. I really
Sounds good. I appreciate the invite, Dom, and best of luck for the rest of the weekend.
All right. That's Jeff Harris working hard here for the OCAA. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk to a player that'll be in action later on this evening, Jalen Harmon of the St. Clair College Saints. You're watching the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships on We Digital Productions.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded.
Welcome back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex. We continue on with our halftime report. OCAA Men's Basketball Championship action here on We Digital Productions. Game 1 unfolding right now. Humber leading the Mohawk Mountaineers 48-44.
Good game.
A little bit of upset maybe.
Yeah.
Jalen Harmon. This guy's going to be in action later on this evening for the St. Clair College Saints.
Yes.
What'd you think of that first half, Jalen?
No, that's a good half of basketball. And you said upset. I'm not surprised. Humber, that's a solid program, man. They're going to play some ball with Mohawk. They fighting, man. It's got to keep the pedal going. They got to keep the pedal, move the ball around. And
when we say upset because you look at the record.
The record, but
you do it as a broadcast.
The records be misleading in tournament.
Absolutely.
We're 0-0 now.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. Yeah, we're all at square one. The guys, how are the guys feeling? Everybody's focused, I'm sure.
We're out there watching some hoops. The guys right there, Miles and Dar. We're just excited for the moment, man. It's so sweet. See the family walking around here, beautiful faces walking around, enjoying some basketball. And
you were part of this last year in Humber, and you guys came up with a silver medal. Great accomplishment. Could the difference this year for you guys be having that home court advantage?
Absolutely, it does make a difference. You got the home support. We've been playing on a court that we practice on every day throughout the week, so we're gonna be comfortable, but. If you put us on any court, at the end of the day, it's basketball. And you just play it and you enjoy the moment and embrace it.
9-game winning streak going into this tournament. I guess you really want nothing to change as far as play on the court.
But at the same time, it's tournament time, so it's a new season, and you just want to elevate it to a new level. What we were able to do in the regular season, we got to challenge ourselves and find a uniqueness and taking it to that next level and getting the most out of it.
On a personal note for yourself, this
Yeah.
is the last kick of the game.
Yes.
At least we get to see you playing at home,
Right.
which is a nice thing.
Right.
We finish here at home, but boy, would it be nice to go out with a gold medal around you.
Absolutely, that's the plan. But one game at a time. One possession at a time as well. I don't want to speed pass it. I want to be patient throughout the whole 40 minutes. I'm not trying to speed past Conestoga to get to the next.
No.
I'm gonna enjoy the game with Conestoga and enjoy the night with my guys and the rest of the family that's going to be able to make it in attendance.
All right, that's awesome. Yeah, it'll be a packed house tonight for sure. 8 o'clock will be the tip tonight for the men's basketball team here at St. Clair. Watch this great guy play some good basketball, and Conestoga, no doubt Conestoga will bring it.
Oh, yeah.
They'll put up a pretty good opposition, so you'll want to get here early, and if you can't make it, of course, tune in to us here on We Digital. We'll have the action for you. Jalen, we'll talk to you a little bit later on. Okay, Jalen Harmon, yes, he gives lots of hugs, this guy. Let's take a look at the stats from that first half of action. Again, a very tight half of basketball. Humber coming up with a 4-point lead. Well, no, those are the West Division standings. I need some stats. There we go. Stewart's never going to let me down. Field goal percentage, again, very close. 3-point field goals, the exact same. Boy, look at how tight this half is, guys. Free throws, very even. Turnovers, there's a difference there. Mohawk, 7 turnovers. Points off turnovers. Humber doing a good job there with 9. Rebounds, Humber a little bit better. And then the blocks and steals. You can see by those stats and by the score, this is a very, very even half of basketball. This second half is going to be just huge. We're set for it, so let's get outside, back into the court. Justin Prince with the call as we continue our coverage of the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships.
Mont's On-Time Express, established in 2006, strategically based on the border in Windsor, Ontario, offers its services to anyone in Canada or the United States. From minivans to 24-foot straight trucks, we're committed to make any move, big or small, quick and easy for our customers. For bigger loads, accommodations can be made to supply dry vans as well as flatbed trucks. Our highly trained drivers always follow all safety protocols and precautions to ensure your shipments not only arrive on time, but more importantly, safe. Our dispatch is available 24/7, 365, and we constantly have trucks on the move throughout Ontario, Quebec, and the United States. We are strongly supported by a first-class compliance department so that we meet all current regulations on both sides of the border. We use the most updated dispatch software to access and follow our freight wherever it goes. Our trucks are equipped with GPS and cell phone tracking, so you know when your shipment will arrive. Being CSA Fast, PIP, CT-PAT, and Smartway approved, we can accommodate all of our customers' requests. When it needs to be on time, Mont's On-Time Express.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
A look over at some of the banners set up along in the stadium, including all the team photos and all the team logos with the records and division placements entering this championship 8 grouping. St. Clair hosting the championship for the first time since 1980. That year, Mohawk picked up a silver medal. St. Clair also picked up some hardware that year in the bronze category. Justin Britt's with you as we start off the second half of play. Dwayne Lambert-Cador, one of the major storylines entering the second half. 13 points in the second and 17 points total. Helped close up that 13-point deficit that the Hawks had that started off the second quarter. Jerry Mercury Jr. on double-double watch already, 11 points, 5 rebounds for the Mountaineers as we're back underway. Cal Ramel, the Keller is lined up alongside Graham, joined alongside by Hart. Mercury Jr. the 5. Ramel looking from the free throw line, picks up contact on the foul. Coming from behind was Brown Vasiquez for his first personal of the quarter, second total of the game. When it comes to the older brother of the Ramel Kawara, in this case, 67.9% for the stripe, 14.5 points per game as a 43% shooter, but also strong rebounder and passer. 5 boards, 3.6 assists in the regular season. Free throws are good, capture him down to 2. Dwayne Lambert-Cador joined alongside Chalmers. Also in the lineup, Osis Joshua hitting the tray. It's Lambert-Cador. Rounding out the group, Brown Vasiquez and Dennis starting off the third quarter of play after his 8 points in 10 minutes. Down to Graham. Graham over top. The big man good. Jumpers on the defense. Graham joins the double-digit point club. 10 points so far, more than 50% from the field. Coming up to 1 minute into this third quarter. Down low, no good. Osis Joshua. Mercury Jr. like to keep it slope tempo. Bounce to Ramel. No, smothered by Lambert-Cador. Gives it off to Graham. Now sends up the slip screen. Graham on the cut, no good. Rebound picked up by the Hawks. Lambert-Cador looking to his right. Keeps it himself for the drive. It's good. Lambert-Cador having a stellar game. 22 points so far on the day. Down along the baseline, Hart giving to Ramel. Oh, Kawara fading back, it's good. Well, Kawara with 6 points so far today. 3:50, coming up to 2 minutes into the third quarter of play. Move to Osis Joshua. Lambert-Cador wants some help. Chalmers coming up for the screen. Contested inside the arc, no good. 3 bodies hit the floor, no whistle comes from it. Moved up by Cale Kawara, avoiding one spin. Moved over to the corner, Mercury Jr. keeps it inside the marks. Mel sets up the slip screen, spinning around, Cale Kawara, contested. Back to the bounce Hart, back to Mercury Jr., the fade back. Looking for the bounce in, it's good. Mercury Jr. able to get the bounce once more. Lambert-Cador. Double screen set for the moment, Dennis. Dennis electing to keep it on the drive. Right hand doesn't fall. Tap back out. Graham picks it up instead in transition. Graham over Lambert-Cador. Counts it in for the bucket. Mohawk with the lead. Lambert-Cador. Narrow high screen set by Dennis. Brown Vasiquez. Bullet pass across. Osis Joshua. Contested 3. Doesn't fall. Picked up by Hart on the board. Alcora looking over to Cale. Cale. Command of the play. Hart on the high screen. Ramel still keeps it. Passed out. Mercury Jr. Regroup. Ramel picks up the corner 3. Doesn't fall for him. Chalmers on the board. Brown Vasiquez watches Lambert-Cador get to work. Chalmers tries to call for motion with Brown Vasiquez. Lambert-Cador keeps it baseline off the front of the rim, no good. Moved up by Mercury Jr. Moved over to Cale. Cale Kawara off the bounce for Mercury Jr. with the right hand, avoids contact. And a Humber Hawk is down. One of the Humber big men reaching for his left leg, that was Chalmers. Chalmers
picking up the contact at the very end of the play. Watch right there. And Chalmers being helped up by his fellow Hawks. Stoppage. Chalmers appears to be back up. And Coach Miles bringing him over to the bench for the time being. So, Adebayo, David comes back in. Coming up to 4 minutes into the third quarter of play. 56-53 Mountaineers. Oh, this is Joshua. As he's now Lambercador calling for someone to run around. Swung all the way around. Oh, this is Joshua. Gets some corner space. Doesn't get it to fall. Put back, no good. Battle for the ball. Picks up the first jump ball of the game. That'll stay Humber basketball. 13 on the shot clock. Biodun David very active today when it comes to the motion. Despite the size, David is 6'8". Another change coming in. Brown Pazika's out, Waith in. Looks like Mohawk trying to get a substitution in response, doesn't get it in time for Stefan Atsko. Now to the shot clock, step back, goes as Joshua. Doesn't drop. Bio David again poked loose. Mel looks to drive around. From inside the paint, throws it away. Moved up quickly by Lambercador. Looking for the charge. Count it for the charge. Lambercador picks up the personal. That's his third personal. Team second. More changes. Oh, this is Joshua after the misses coming out. Back in Brown Fazekas. Kalkaora sees an opening. Takes advantage of it. Can't make it. Up the other side. Lambercador. Slows it back down. Moved around to the tray. Brown Fazekas again no good. And another whistle. No basket. It's back the other direction. Dennis on the battle for the board. Dennis with 3 personals now. Team's third, and that brings up a major point. Entering the quarter, 5 of Humber's top 6 players in the rotation, 4 of them starters, mind you, with 2 personals. Dennis, along with Lambercador, in foul trouble. 3 no good from Kalkaora. Mercury to Kalkaora for a second chance. Off the rim again. Third chance poked loose. Stays Mohawk basketball. 13 on the shot clock. And another quick substitution. J.R. Harwood, who's only seen 6 total minutes so far today, back into the game. Starting the day 0 for 2. Now given to Mercury Jr. Back around with it. Atsko. And whistle's called. And a quick whistle picked up by Brown Fazekas for a third personal for him now. Look at the play. Brown Fazekas on the D. Comes right there before the pass attempt. Three Hawks with significant playing time now in foul trouble. Moved around. And the speed away. Atsko trapped. Gives it to Mercury Jr. with 4 on the shot clock. The fade back. Airballs it. Lambercador takes it back up. 1-on-1 over Graham. Floats it in. First time in a few possessions. Ball goes in the cup. Graham drawing some contact. Count it. And the foul. And Humber's now over the limit in the corner in fouls with 4:29 to go in the third. And a big personal 2. That is now 4 for Lambercador. Let's take a look at Daniel Graham's stat lines. He led the way in total points for the Mountaineers in points, 361. That's good enough for more than 20 points per game. Mountaineers lead by 4 after the make on the free throw. Cameron David now in. Dennis working. Brown Vazquez scrambling. Looking to juke forward, can't get it to go. Mercury Jr., quick pass, Graham off the spin, wide open up the lane. Timeout called, Coach Miles. And the Mountaineers streak ahead to a 6-point advantage, 61-55. Let's take a look at Mohawk stat line. As mentioned, they beat Algonquin 96-77 in the crossover round. This team, very difficult to beat on the score sheet. Why? Most points per game in the province. 5th in shooting percentage from terms of field goals. Top 3-point shooting team. Top 5 from the free throw line. Oh, and top 5 in assists as well. They also don't turn over the ball too much as a team. 11.7, first in the province. The rebounding's been the one thing lower on those major stat categories. 10th best coming into the postseason. But keep in mind, when it comes to Mohawk's side and when it comes to some of the emphasis on how they prepare for this matchup, it's been the focal point of carrying the momentum forward from a lot of close games. As discussed pre-game, of their games to close out the season, even with the losses starting to be factored in, a lot of games were very tightly contested. Coming out of the timeout, 4:09 to go in the third quarter. One more quick substitution before they come out of the timeout for Young back in. Cal Kiora coming out. The Hawks looking to find something. The offense 7 points so far in 6 minutes in this quarter. Looking for the three, changing their hopes. It's good. Dennis. Zika's in the vicinity as well. Moved over outside. On the drive, contested. No good. And go. Humber trying to rebound it, couldn't get it. Ramel wide open for the layup. Mohawk up by 5, 63-58. Dennis draws hard contact. Foul coming from behind. Mercury Jr., his third. Look as Dennis right after the juke to the right. Except contact from the right arm of Mercury Jr. So Dennis, chance to go to the stripe, and Hart come back in as a result of Mercury Jr.'s foul trouble. Now getting back to the discussion point when it comes to Dennis, 63.9% from the stripe this season, about 9 points per game, but has also been a strong shooter, one of multiple Hawks shooting higher than 40% from the field. Just under 46% for Dennis. Starting most of the year. Missing the free throw, however. Passed away from trouble. Ramel. Back and forth from Hart. Kawara gives it on. Looking for Graham. Pass quickly. Hart. After the pump, it's good. David. Getting back around. Brown Vazquez. Having to stop, having to work, having to shuffle for the bucket. Back and forth. Ramel carries it up. Goro looking back. Giving quickly. On the cut, it's Young. Young contested, it's good. Under 3 minutes to go in the quarter. 6 points up are the Mountaineers. Moved around for the three. Back of the rim, no good. Dennis. Carried up once again by the Mountaineers quickly. This is Ensko. Move back to Young. Forging the shot clock for Ramel. Able to avoid contact for a moment. Hart picks up the board. Ramel has it popped up for the steal. Brown Fazekas. Cameron David. Boyd pass baseline. Waits watches it passed around the outside for Dennis. Waits calling for motion. Dennis wants isolation. Into the shot clock. Dennis takes it, makes it for the bucket. .140 to go, and another whistle. Waith trying to reach forward there for a first personal. Down against him and Young. So Waith, Munstle's now coming out. Another substitution. Waith coming out. Bio David coming in. Coming in as well for Mohawk. Ricky Morrison, fourth-year forward from Hamilton. And now the Mountaineers, as a result of Humber's foul troubles, to the stripe. First one's no good. Young so far, 8 points on the night. As the clouds start to settle over the Sportsplex. Both no good this time. David goes from near side to far side. Brown Fazika is looking for the high screen, gets it, takes the drive, passed out barely, moved out to Dennis. Down to the shot clock. Looking for options, no good. Tapped out of bounds, last touch by the Mountaineers, the front man on the rebound attempt. French 14 given as well after the battle of Bio Dunn-David. Dunn-David through the inbound, contested, no good. Second chance, contested, no good. Third chance, contested, still good. Took 3 tries, but the Mohawks are now within 2. Kawara has a nice screen again from Morrison. Wide open Hart, doesn't take it. Kawara passes it back out. Design play, looking contested, still falls. Ansko. Ansko with a man in his face, still makes a drop. 20-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Chance for a maybe 2 for 1. Dunn-David now with Brown Fazekas. Dunn-David sets up low post. Double teams, breaks it through. Dennis wide open for the pass in the bucket. 1 second difference, shot clock and game clock. Hawks back off the defense. Right now showing a 3-2 look. Clock being drained, similar to the first quarter. Now Kawara gives it off. Yon, 3, no good. Battle for the board, and multiple whistles the baseline with 0.1 seconds on the clock. Ball stays at that end of the court. No signal to add time back. This is to end the third. Alley-oop, no good. After 3 quarters of play, 69-67's the score. It's a nail-biter for the quarterfinals. Mohawk and Humber hungry for a spot in the semis tomorrow. More coverage coming up after this.
You're there for your father. You're there for your wife. You're there for your friend. And we're here for you.
The officer found me, and I was bleeding to death.
I was diagnosed with a very rare disease, which basically affects the body's ability to produce blood cells.
I received several blood transfusions from 14 different donors.
It's heartwarming that so many people factored into keeping me alive.
That beautiful gift to give blood, you saved my life.
It only takes a moment of your time, but it means a lifetime of benefit.
Become a blood donor. Visit blood.ca and book an appointment now.
Look over to Humber's bench as they trail by 2 to the Mountaineers. What has been a thriller. The Mohawk Mountaineers outscoring the Hawks, mind you, 25-19. That's because Mohawk in part shot 55% from the field. Fans making their way over from the GTA region, looking to cheer things on and see how things play out the next 10 minutes. One major thing to note, points off turnovers huge for the Hawks. 9 Mohawk turnovers have led to 11 points for Humber in the cup. Mountaineers start off with the ball as we begin the fourth quarter. Graham starts off with the screen, set by Hart. Graham tries to Euro forward. Move back to Graham from Young for the bucket. It's good from 3. And a quick start to the quarter from outside for the Mountaineers. Their 6th triple of the day. Then David trying to pass to Brown Faziquez. And now the Mountaineers having to be pushed back in discussion with the officials as they flip the ball the other direction. Initially was going to stay that side of the court. Faziquez down. Let's look from that. Hart inside there. Brown Faziquez back up on the court. Mountaineers basketball. Mohawks offense led by Graham, mind you. 17 points, making now 20 in this game so far. 15 points, 10 rebounds by Mercury Jr., but in foul trouble. Outside, Young. Thought about the 3 that draws contact. Dennis taking responsibility. And Dennis is now in foul trouble. He's now the 2nd Hawk to reach 4 personal fouls. That coming off the pump set up by the guard. So Os Joshua coming in. The big thing, Lambert Cador, 24 points. Having to come out early in foul trouble. 4 personals. Dennis, 16 points, 4 personals. Battle for the ball. 4, 5, 6 players battle for the jump ball. After the battle of the ball, they say Humber basketball. Let's look at that as Hart nearly got it. Stripped away at the last moment by Harwood. Oh, before the possession rule comes in. Mercury Jr., speaking of which, back into the game with Mohawk having Humber's 2 top scorers in foul trouble. Cameron David, Moses Joshua, Harwood, lined up with Abiodun David. Brought to 5 is Wade. Off the pumps. Abiodun David now going to the stripe to shoot 2 for himself. Cal Kawara in the midst of the traffic. That's the 2nd personal, team first. As brother Ramel comes back in. Abiodun David, we've seen a lot of coming off the bench, especially with his quick reflexes. Just a 40% shooter from the stripe, about 5 points per game. But Abiodun David, a strong rebounder, as we've seen. 5 boards, half of them offensive. Second one's good. Hawks trim the gap to 4. About 1 minute into the fourth quarter of play. The Mountaineers lead 72-68. From the corner, Rommel inside the line, draws more contact. And another personal. Two free throws coming up with Rommel going to the line. Cameron David picking up the personal. Cameron David second. Mo makes the first of two. And the second one rims out, and Humber throws it away. Bayadun David throws it to the spot of the inbound. Dennis comes back in. How about that for a moment? As Bayadun David comes right out of the game after that flub. Graham, corner, no good. Tapped up and put back in, Rommel. Well, Kaora with the bucket. He's got 12 points so far today. David to Dennis. Round now, Osis Joshua. Cameron David again. Tries to cut through Yun. Whistle. Offensive foul. Cameron David. That's his third personal and another Hawk in foul trouble. There it is off the right elbow before the strip attempt from Kale Kaora. Given again to Yun. This is Joshua on the smother. Backs off. 2-3 look. Dennis over Rommel. Kaora blocked by the Hawks. Osis Joshua gives it up. Wait. Puts up the bucket. And now the full court press starting to show a bit of a look at that. Backs it off instead. Cameron David, the middle line, prevents the pass away. Graham off the spin, off the corner. Battle inside. Markery Jr. stripped away. Dennis floats it for Waite. Waite drops it. Can't hold on to it on the fast break. And Lambricador, the veteran, coming in. Mohawk wants a timeout with 7:53 to go in this fourth quarter. So turnovers starting to really come in. From the Humber side, they had just 5 entering the third quarter of play. So as the discussions continue in the midst of the timeout huddles, keep in mind, the West Division standings carried a lot of weight this season. As a matter of fact, of these teams you see here, the top 7 all made it to the Championship 8 grouping. St. Clair, of course, had the bye, not just rather because of the host, but also because they were in turn the top team of the West Division. Mohawk, second best in the division. Humber, mind you, tied for 6th with Lambton. Sheridan, Niagara, and Conestoga all also made it. As a result of the crossover games, as mentioned, only one East Division team made it to this point. Coming out of the timeout, 75-70 the score. Mohawk looking to hold on. Humber looking to soar forward again. Humber Hawks, mind you, battled with St. Clair last season for the national title and for the provincial title. A much different look team this year. Taken back up by the Mountaineers after the timeout. It's Graham. Graham taking the mid-range. Misses the mid-range. Up by Lambricador. The size up. Looking to pass back. Dennis. Promotion now. Wade. Giving up to the Lambricador. 11 on the shot clock. Lambricador mid-range. No good from his happy spot. Ramar Kaora moved over for Yun. Yun having to stop. Looks back. Off to Rommel. Kaora for 3, front of the rim. Lambricador with the board. Calling for traffic. Dennis. Back around Harwood. Looking to wake up. Move back around for Dennis. Wide open for three. Too strong. Moved up by Graham. Voids one reach forward. Young. Move back now. The Kaora's passing it around. Rommel down low. Back up around Mercury Jr. Pull back over to Kale. Kaora with traffic behind. Wade can't contest it enough. Just past 3 minutes in the fourth. 77-70 Mohawk. Dennis lobs it up and throws it into the second row. And another miscue. Brown Fazika is coming in after that one is thrown away. Here's Lambert Gador's stat lines. He led the way in points for the Hawks as a whole. 15.8 points per game. 268 total points for the veteran. Lambert Gador, meanwhile, has a bucket in his face. Dennis gives it off to Brown Fazikas. Takes a contested, blocked. Tracked down by Mercury Jr. for the board again. Graham, bounce pass. Rommel, fast break. It's good. Timeout called, and the Mountaineers bench erupts. A double-digit lead with 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Rommel Kaora on the break. Once again, zipping by Lambert Gador. Big shift in momentum. Speaking of momentum, George Brown has it with 17 straight victories entering the quarterfinals. They are taking on the Niagara Knights as they look to represent the East. Strawn as being the only East representative. 3 p.m. the start time. Catch that here on We Digital. Look over at those Huskies as they get warmed up and prepared for today's matchup. They are one of 3 teams who enter this tournament with the national ranking. They are higher in the rankings, mind you, than St. Clair, who's been red hot in the West Division. Third best in the power rankings is George Brown, VIU, leading the way in the country. Humber taking as much time as they need to discuss things. Coach Miles looking to try and keep his team in it for a semifinal date tomorrow. Mountaineers have the advantage 81-70, 6:04 to go exactly on the clock. The last time the Humber Hawks did not place for a medal, 2013-14. Check that. Make it 2012-13. That year, Mohawk picked up a silver. Lambert Gador gives it off to Chompers. Moved outside. Osis Joshua, no good. Tapped out. Kept alive by Lambert Gador. The second chance. They still say Mohawk ball. Now they flip it. Mohawk basketball. There's the second save attempt. Dennis not able to keep it in baseline. Young, Mercury Jr., the Kaoras rounded up by Graham. Rommel, Kaora, no good again, and now over the back call. Young and Dennis. That is against Yun. Watch Yun over the back and pretty clear cut. Dennis with a good box out. Coming up to halfway through the fourth quarter. 81-70. Still the score for the Mountaineers. And a quick whistle on the cut. That's Brown Fazikas. And a blocking foul picked up. Yun with his third personal. The next one puts Mohawk over the limit for the first time. Off the inbound, Dennis. High screen set. Wide open three. No good again. Kale Kaora battles for the ball. Picked up by the Hawks. Trying to get the second chance down the baseline. They say he stepped down the line. With that, another buzzer. No sub coming out. Graham. The Calcor now over outside. Mercury Jr. rims it out. Taken back up by Humber. Lambert Cador looking to do something. Hits the mid-range. It's good. Lambert Cador, 26 points today for Humber. Mercury Jr. gives it around. Spinning forward. Contact on that one, Yun. Move back off the deflection to Kale Kaora. 7 on the shot clock. Kale Kaora, jumper, good. Taking a bit of work there. Moved up by Lambert Cador again. Chalmers looking to shuffle. Passed around. Oses Joshua. Slip screen set by Chalmers. He goes low post. Lambert Cador trying to work around Chalmers. Comes for the screen. Now give it back to Chalmers. He takes a three. Misses the three. Bound for the board. Picked up by Dennis. A fresh 14 on the shot clock. Outside. Brown Fazekas has it blocked. Moved up quick by Graham. Graham, foot race through traffic, no good. Under 4 minutes to go in the fourth. Back to the baseline. Brown Fazekas out to Dennis. Needing a three, missing the three again. Malcora again. Calcora. Looking to slow it down. Set play. Round to Yun. Down low. Calcor over to Ramel. Count it! And the foul! And the Kaora fan club erupts. Kale and Ramel going back and forth with the help of Yun too. And now a chance to complete the N1 again. Cameron David now in. The ball in for the make. Durant quickly stolen away. Cam Kaora. Now gets to Ramel. And a whistle. Cameron David. 4 personals now. And now both teams at risk of drawing the bonus from here on out. Mohawk, huge opportunities here. Remember, this is a team that went from 1-7 in the abbreviated campaign to 14-4 this year. Mercury Jr. gives it out. Yun, 8 on the shot clock. Spins forward, rimming out. Cameron David avoids the defense. Passed around quick. Lambert Cador streaking in. It's good. Lambert Cador and Dennis both critical for the Hawks offense today. 28 points for Lambert Cador, 16 coming the way of Dennis. Calora cutting through traffic again for another bucket. 12 points for Kale. Cameron David contested. Count it, and the foul. We're picking up contact, and now he'll go to the line with the bonus in effect for the Hawks. Yun picks up his 4. Hart coming in turn for him. Humber running out of time. Cameron David, one of the team's star free throw shooters, 87.5% makes it. Mohawk keeping it slow tempo for now. They break through the half court. Romel Calora for 3. No. Dump quickly. Now the speed up. Cameron David, bullet pass. Lambert Couture, extra pass to the corner. The 3 doesn't fall. Mercury Jr. looking back, nearly stripped away on the slow pass. Graham avoids 2 more reaches, now gets a third poke. Moved up to Osis, Joshua open good. And now Humber's within single digits, under 2 minutes to go in regulation. Mercury Jr. has his pocket picked. Back around, Lambergador. Move back for Harwood. Outside, Cameron David, no good. Mercury Jr. picked up by Kale Kalora. Up by Hart. Hart, double team, moved to Ramel. Now with it is Kale. Kale Kalora, runner. Harwood takes the foul. Harwood with his third personal with 1:28 to go. Both teams in the bonus. So Kale Kalora, who has 12 points so far today, with a big trip to the stripe. No good on the first. No Hawk set back yet. Second's good. 10-point lead, buzzer sounding. Dennis coming in on the sub. Chalmers coming out. Cameron David runs the point. Lambergador set up in the far corner, move to the near corner instead for now. Brown Fazekas, Dennis over to Cameron David. Now with it, Lambergador mid-range. Voight's one reach back. Cameron David, 9 on the shot clock. Gets a reach on him. And the Mountaineers take the personal. Send Cameron David back to the line. Kale Kalora picks up a third personal. Look at the play. Yes, right on the right hand. That comes with 1:12 to work with. Cameron David makes the first of 2. It's one backup point throughout the campaign for the squad. Now, trying to make it to 9 points here. It's good. 8-point deficit. Graham gives it around. Kalora now to Hart, back over around. Mercury Jr. Kale Kalora. 1 minute to go in the game. Kale Kalora puts it up, good. Humber needs numbers in fast. Lambergador can't get his number, put back way off the mark. Last touch by Humber, Mohawk ball. With under 45 seconds to go, Mountaineers can taste the semifinal. Mohawk Mountaineer team with plenty of award winners, mind you, coming in. Jonker, mention Graham, Mercury Jr., nearly stripped away from all of them. And a whistle called. Kalora drawing it with 31.7 seconds to go. Lambergador takes the 5th personal. That'll end the 5th-year seniors game and possibly his time as a Hawk. Rexdale, Ontario's Dwayne Lambergador ends the day with 28 points. A team high. Standing ovation from the entire arena. Lambergador makes his way to the bench. Waith coming in. Kale Kalora to ice it. Makes the first of 2. An unbelievable career when it comes to Lambricador, star player for multiple seasons with the Humber Hawks. It's the second drops. Of course, picked up the medal last year for gold, as well as 3 silver medals in the previous campaigns. Another shot, Brown Fasika's no good. And last touch by Chambers. Shot clock off. Mohawk Mountaineers with a chance to battle for some silverware. Avoid the intentional foul. Graham gives it off to Rommel. And that should just about do it. The Mohawk Mountaineers hold on to move to the semifinals. 93-81 is the final. 5+ scores in double-digit points. And now they have a shot to battle for a spot in the championship game for Sunday. Post-game coverage coming up right after this. You're watching We Digital for the OCAA Men's Basketball Championship from St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario.
For every big breath, for every little breath, and for every breath in between, Ontario Power Generation is committed to keeping Ontario's air clean. That's why the power we generate is 99% free of smog and carbon emissions. Because clean air matters to us all.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is, put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
What can milk do? Well, it can turn you into a morning person. It can help fuel some pretty tough stuff. And it can definitely make cartoons funnier.
No, it can't.
Oh, well, it can have a little edge. But come on, even kiddies love it. It'll keep up with you at any age. It makes engines whir and creme brulee creamy. It's one of the easiest labels you'll ever read. And anything that makes this happen is pretty special. In fact, what can't milk do?
The officer found me, and I was bleeding to death.
I was diagnosed with a very rare disease, which basically affects the body's ability to produce blood cells.
I received several blood transfusions from 14 different donors.
It's heartwarming that so many people factored into keeping me alive.
That beautiful gift to give blood, you saved my life.
It only takes a moment of your time, but it means a lifetime of benefit.
Become a blood donor. Visit blood.ca and book an appointment now.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Welcome back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex, the site of the OCAA Men's Basketball Championships here on We Digital Productions. Our first quarterfinal game just ending, and it's the Mohawk Mountaineers defeating the defending national champions, 93-81, defeating the Humber Hawks, of course. Brian Jonker, the head coach of the Mountaineers. Coach, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
You know, your team has an outstanding campaign, and Humber, it's a different team than last year, but I said it on our when we opened the broadcast, Humber's still in this thing. This is not going to be an easy game. Very tough game for your squad.
Very. I mean, they prepared well for us. They had a good game plan. They ran us off the three-point line pretty well. I mean, we shoot the three very well, and today we didn't shoot it well at all. But they game planned and defended us to take it away from us. So they're defending champs, and they played like it today. They played hard. You have to kill them. They're not going to just go away.
Yeah. In fact, at halftime, they led by 4. What happened in that first half, and what changed?
Yeah, I thought Daniel Graham for us in the second half, he got more involved, and we got him more touches with his speed. And him attacking, I think, made a lot of difference in the second half, created other things even when he wasn't the one scoring. And I thought defensively we did a better job in the second half of rebounding and limiting second chances for the most part. They're a big group, so that was tough. But
yeah, they are a big team.
Yeah.
So you get to move on to the next round, the semifinals. Not that you know, I'm sure you're going to be doing a little bit of scouting, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah. So we know Niagara well. They're in our division.
Yeah.
We played George Brown at Christmas. A fantastic game at Christmas at their place, an overtime game. So, yeah. But we'll watch this one and then get to work on some more film tonight. And we're 40 minutes away from getting a berth in the Nationals. That's step one.
Yeah. Good stuff, Coach. Appreciate it, and congrats on it. Congrats
Thank
on
you.
the award last night, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well-deserved Coach of the Year in Western Conference. So, Coach, continued success to you here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Brian Jonker winning his first game here. His team moves on to the next round. Humber, their season comes to an end. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to take a break, actually, and I think in about 15 minutes or so you see our next game. The Niagara Knights, Coach Jonker just talked about them, the George Brown Huskies. This will be another good matchup, folks. Even though the Huskies come into this thing just on fire, the Niagara Knights will give them a tough go. Stay tuned for it. It's going to be another great OCAA men's basketball game. We hope you'll stick around. This is Dominic Papa wishing you a great afternoon. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.